My name is Lisa Dublin. I am a health and life coach, and I help you to live, to speak, and to lead with confidence. Because why should you not do it? Okay. And so, welcome to my little show this morning. I won't be before you very long, trying to keep it to a very tight 15 minutes this morning. Let's see how we do. So, welcome to my Diamonds in the To All the Girls Success Club. I hope everybody's doing well. We want to continue talking about this thing called resilience. And I began last week talking about it. Hey, Violet, how are you doing? Hi, Bibiana. Good morning to everybody wherever you are. So we began speaking about this topic last week, and some of the comments and the reasons that we realized that we needed to be resilient in life is because life is stressful. And obviously, the more resilient you are, can everybody hear me okay, by the way? I hope everybody can hear me. Let me know. I have been known to start speaking for minutes at a time with no audio. So let me know if you can hear me. Good morning. So, one of the reasons we need resilience is because life is stressful. And the more resilient you are, the more you have the ability to overcome, to bounce back from challenges, to get up and pick yourself up and keep on going, is the better that you will fare, the more lessons you will learn, the richer your life will be, and the more mature you become. If you run away from challenges or have no staying power, then you really can't get all that life can offer you because you won't learn these lessons to move on to the next level. So you need to be resilient for all sorts of reasons. I wanted to go back to my little chart that I've been putting up every single time, and today the one that I want to talk about is humility. It's not there because, like, I just didn't put it in. I didn't find the space to put it in. But anyway, we've spoken about grit and about faith and optimism. Yesterday, we went deep into determination, and we saw that determination was a couple things. It was resolve, it was patience, it was persistence, and it was that fierceness that, hey, I will find a way. Like, you dig deep inside of you to get what you need, and it's fear, and I was saying yesterday, many times, I'm walking and talking, but I feel like in my head, like I'm on this very wild beach in St. Lucia, where I'm from. That's just my mental state always, and it works for me. And so obviously a high self-concept support, we'll talk about that later. Evaluation of what you're doing. It's not just a matter of, yeah, I'll keep on going, but are you putting strategy into it? Are you evaluating your efforts for you to keep on going? All of these things come into play with resilience. And so I wanted to put this up, just let you be thinking about how resilient are you. The last challenge that you had, let me stop sharing now for my Instagram friends. The last challenge that you faced, how did you fare? Are you proud of yourself? What lessons are you taking away and storing, as I like to tell my clients, in your back pocket for the next time? But let's today talk about humility. Let's talk about humility. And I did have a definition of humility, which is thinking of yourself, not giving yourself that much regard, thinking of yourself in a way that I'm like everybody else, that, I'm not too high or I'm not too important, that I can't do certain things. I think perhaps the opposite of humility would be words like arrogance, like pride, for example, thinking more highly of yourself than you really are. And it's a really, when you really think about this attitude, this state of being, it's very interesting because other questions arise. Where do I put self concept, thinking of myself as I really am, and these I'm thinking of myself as deserving the best? How does that tally or tangle with me not thinking of myself as, anything, that this can't happen to me, that it's okay if certain things happen? I think it depends on the context. In the area of struggle and adversity and going through stuff, If you do have the attitude that, no, I can't go through that, people can't see this happen to me, you're never going to learn the lessons, go through the lessons, overcome, because you are so focused on what other people think about you. So sometimes I always say that people who are very shy are literally the most self-conscious, and perhaps the people who perhaps have the, a little bit of pride there, because if you really didn't think that much about yourself in terms of, yeah, so what if I mess up, so what if you just come out and you just do what you have to do, right? But many people, like to hide behind, oh yeah, I'm shy and whatever, but it really is that self-consciousness stemming from, I don't want people to see me mess up. And why don't we want people to see us mess up? Because they laugh, and that's okay. Who are you for people not to laugh at you? Have we ever thought about it that way? Okay. Just in the context of learning life's lessons, sometimes you learn very public lessons. Sometimes things happen to you that everybody sees, and you cringe, you want to run and hide, but some things you just can't be denied. But what some people do, instead of like being resilient and going through patiently with themselves and all of that, what some people simply do is hide away. I don't want people to see, and if people can't see, then I don't have to deal with it, and I don't want to deal with it at all. So I'll just keep on going on as if nothing happened, and trying to put up a front. There is another way. I guess the humble way to kind of deal with adversity whenever it happens, however it happens. Admit it. I'm not saying go tell the world what's happening to you, or anything of the sort. I'm not saying that, right? Like go broadcast it to the world. But there's, a fine line between actually hiding away and just patiently in yourself accepting, okay, this is where I am. If anybody asks and, it comes up, I'll just simply admit it and move on. So what? I'm not the only one that adversity is happening to. I'm not the only one going through struggles. I'm not the only one, perhaps, who has had to start all over again or had things happen that are not good. I can admit it. That's part of being resilient, because that's when you begin to deal with it. And so the definition, as I said, for humble is not proud or arrogant, right? There's also that feeling of having a feeling of insignificance, subservience, and so on. I'm not quite sure we want to get into that, because I think you can be a servant. Jesus Christ was a servant. He came and he washed his disciples' feet, which was something I was reading about just recently, that the lowliest of servants did in any official's house. And Jesus, who was King of Kings, Lord of Lords, he washed his disciples' feet as a sign of serve if you want to lead, that whole thing of servant leadership. And so we see, I think, a very nice mix of knowing who he was as God, as well as coming on earth to serve and to know that he had to go through these challenges. We see that in him. So he knew who he was, and he exhibited that, knowing that I'm great, I'm powerful in so many ways. At the same time, when it came time to go through certain things, Jesus wasn't like, I'm God, I can't do it. And so I think when I talk about humility this morning, we're talking about in the area of the challenges that life presents itself. Are you open to them? How are you handling them? Are you one of those people who is like, I don't want anybody to see me sweat? I have to, everything has to look perfect. Like when I do my Speak with Confidence classes, we always begin with a tell me one embarrassing thing about yourself, one strong thing, whatever. And we always, like, I think one of the appeals of a great speaker is the vulnerability. Not everybody has to be vulnerable, but when you are, you really draw, like, there's an identification with your audience. So I always teach that in terms of be vulnerable, be open, because people are going through things like you, like everybody else. You're just one of them. So it's okay to be, vulnerable that way. And sometimes we have people who are like, well, I can't think of any embarrassing thing that happened to me. You'll have to come back to me. Of course, we never come back to them, okay? Because it just clearly, like, you don't even want to think and to disclose anything embarrassing to you. What about you? I don't know, maybe it's because I've been in the media a long time and have like just done embarrassing things right here, streaming live. You know what I mean? So at some point, it's like what they say in terms of after you've had a child, like you lose a sense of embarrassment for certain things. You know what I mean? So it's probably the same thing. And I think like if you let life teach you, if you're open to the lessons and just simply be like, okay, I'm normal, this is normal, embarrassment is normal, okay? Learning lessons before everybody is normal. You know, going through life before people, letting them see you fall, that is normal. So it's a matter of just normalizing that for yourself. And here's the other thing that I'm so big on in terms of if I'm going to be accepting of my humble moments and of the times when I'm not, at my best, doing my best, being best, at times when I have to be corrected, maybe sometimes by people who are younger than I am, or, maybe not in a very good way. Perhaps, too, I should also give people grace and space for them to fall and learn and get up. What I mean by that is we're very quick to laugh at people, share things that make people look really bad, talk badly about people behind their backs. Hey, Ryan, how are you? Thank you for that, Ryan. Nice to see you. Thank you. He says, really positive message here. But what if we adopted the same kind of empathetic stance towards other people that I'm hoping we are applying to ourselves? As in, I say to myself, hey, Lise, you're doing the best that you can. Yes, I call myself Lise. That's my home name, one of them. But just as a way of loving on you and saying, it's okay to fall. It's okay, Lisa. It's all right. If we do that for ourselves, can we also do it for other people? Can we also be the kind of person who, even from afar, even with people you don't know, the celebrities, even to people you hear about, to people everybody else is washing their mouth on, could you be the kind of person who's thinking that person is in growth, that person is going through challenges as well, and even from afar, giving grace and space, not sharing certain things, not bad talking people and laughing at them and so on. I mean, some things are funny, okay? You wonder, like, what in the world, okay? But at the same time, for the most part, I think it serves us well to be the kind of people who are loving on people and giving them grace. That's part of helping ourselves to take the space to be resilient. I think, like, I give myself a lot of grace, and I'm not sure how this works. Perhaps there's some psychologist out there who can tell me, but it's because I'm that gracious with myself that I am able to give other people grace. You won't find me laughing at people, like talking about them behind their backs and that kind of thing, because I'm always putting myself in that situation. I I know things happen, but because I hold that standard for myself, then it's easier for me to apply it to other people and give them grace, give them space. Even sometimes they don't take it, they don't need it, whatever. But in my own mind, I'm maintaining that posture of, I will have hard lessons to learn and they might be public and whatever. And so I'm holding out space for myself to grow and to know that ultimately the journey is mine. I'm looking deeper than what people think to actually learn the lessons that will serve me well. And you know what, you guys, when I was thinking about this part of the topic on resilience, I'm not sure if it's because, like, I think a core part of my identity is being a writer. And the one thing, if you, I know about writing and speaking, you just have to be honest. Don't know how to explain it, but I guess not every writer is honest, but you're dealing with internal things. How could you not be honest? And so I think I've taken from that whole experience to also apply to the rest of life, to be able to be like, Okay, how is it? So even in a coaching situation, I always tell my clients, we're not dealing with what it should be. Let's deal with what is right now. Who are you? Like, it's not what you want to be thinking or what you think you should be thinking. Like, who are you? You know, all sorts of things come up there when you just give yourself, when you just simply observe yourself without the judgment. And that is big. So, we're at the 15-minute mark, you guys. So I'm going to just end here talking about today humility as part of the whole resilient posture. That if you are humble, it will be okay for you to go through certain things. You're not going to, somebody corrects you, or you have a hard lesson to learn, or you have to wait. Even that, some people are like, why should it be me? Whatever. No, simmer, sit into it, okay? Learn the lesson like everybody else. That's part of the humility. Like, I'm not better than everybody else. If people have to go through certain things, so do I, and that's okay. And by extension, last point is, hey, Shemaine, how are you? Good morning. And the last point is, if I can be that way with myself, can I also extend that grace to other people, give them the benefit of the doubt, for example, and know that they also need grace and space for them to be humble and learn those lessons quietly, meekly, and to move on. Yep. A lot of growth has been through humility. Yeah, and you know what? And sometimes you learn the deepest lessons from your deepest critics. Has that ever happened to you? Or like it's a hard pill to swallow. Hard pill to swallow. But sometimes you just learn the deepest lessons. You wish it was coming from somebody else. Okay, has that ever happened to anybody else? So now I've just been like, especially in a professional setting, you know, like, especially there, I'll be like, okay, I'm just here to do the best. We have the same aim. Don't take it personally. Examine what the person is suggesting. If it makes sense, just do it. That's what you're being paid for, as opposed to getting into the weeds of how they said it. Yeah, that's wrong, maybe. But, sometimes that's the humility of like, I just get better from learning from everybody, even my enemies, even my worst critics, people that come with the wrong way of saying it. You learn from them. So just take the lesson, sit into it, tie waist, fling your shoulders back, and let's go. Hey, Barbara. Yeah, these challenges are character building. Yes, they are. So I'm getting ready to the whole point I think of like doing resilience this month is like I have a couple of videos that I'm going to start releasing very soon. Just talking about resilience, what I've learned about them. I'm pretty excited about that. Yes, and unless you are tested in these ways, you will never grow. That is so true. Okay, folks, I'm out of here. So have a wonderful day and join me tomorrow. We'll continue the conversation about resilience. Like, it's something we all need, and you can't go wrong like just learning about them, examining yourself, looking at the last challenges. And so here's the question I want to leave with you is, how are you preparing for the next challenge? How are you preparing for the next challenge that you might meet in any way? And why I came up with that question was examining how I um how I managed or handled a challenge recently that I wasn't so proud of. So I'm like, okay. So that's why we're going to talk about evaluation. And I was like, okay, if that did not go as planned, why didn't it go as planned? And how can I prepare for if something like that happens again? Because you can literally, there of course there are a lot of things that are unexpected in life, but a lot of this is really us getting quiet with ourselves and going through thought processes that will serve us well for the future. All right, folks, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.